What is genre? A genre is a category or type of something, especially in art, literature, music, movies, or theater plays. A genre is a group of works that share similar features such as style, subject, or theme. Examples of genres are horror, romance, science fiction, fantasy, comedy, drama, and tragedy. Within the overarching genre of drama, plays are typically divided into three primary subgenres: tragedy, serious plays with unhappy endings focusing on human suffering; comedy, humorous plays with happy endings intended to entertain; and a tragicomedy, plays that blend both serious themes and comedic elements. A genre is a type of category of movies, music, or books. It groups things with similar style, theme, or subject. Books: mystery, fantasy, romance, science fiction, tragedy. Movies: action, comedy, horror, drama, tragedy. Music: rock, pop, hip hop, classical. Examples: horror equals scary, romance equals love, tragedy equals sad ending.
Today, we will be talking about author Arthur Miller's play, Death of a Salesman. Author Arthur Miller was born in New York City in 1915. Death of a Salesman won the Pulitzer Prize for drama. It established Miller as a powerful literary influence throughout the entire country. Miller was outspoken about his beliefs concerning labor and racial inequalities in America. This work also serves as an allegory for the anti-communist hysteria of the 1950s. The protagonist, Willie Loman, is a 63-year-old traveling salesman who is deeply disappointed that he has not achieved the American dream. He is nearing the end of his career, and his mental state is deteriorating. The play takes place over the course of 24 hours in Willie's Brooklyn home. Essentially, the main character, Willie Loman, has a contextual problem. He works very hard all of his life, playing by the rules for success, yet he fails to yield its prescribed outcome. He encounters ageism and an ideological American dream that does not reflect his reality. The actions of his character reflect this schism. The play is set in post-World War II America, in which the Cold War, capitalism, and the American dream firmly appear and influence the characters' feelings and actions. Families had become overly concerned with both social and economic status, perhaps to avoid being cast as un-American by the McCarthy hearings, which sought to expose communist sympathizers. The counterpoint to un-American activities was to display an America in which all was well. Willie Loman might have been a Fuller Brush salesman during the 1940s. The following clip I am playing here is a promotional video, which captures the essence of American capitalism and entrepreneurship, the manufacturing process, and how products were sold, door to door and by word of mouth. The Fuller Brush Company is still in existence today and may be found at fuller.com.
As it is not possible for us to bring all of our dealers into the home office and factory, it is our purpose, by means of this motion picture, to take the factory out across the country to our organization so that all may see the remarkable progress which has been made in the method of brush manufacture. This primitive twisting machine is the actual device which I used in making the first Fuller brushes over 35 years ago. Constant improvement and efficiency of production, together with greatly increased volume, are the chief reasons why the Fuller dealer today can sell this product of best quality at such low prices, thus to build for himself a highly profitable business. I take great pleasure in introducing this screen story. It will speak for itself. With these few remarks, I now say, as does the director in the studio, lights, action, camera.
At Somerville, Massachusetts in 1906, this business was born in humble surroundings. Mr. Fuller was a young man then, and in the cellar of an older sister's home, he designed the brushes and made them with his own hands, special brushes for the specific needs of his customers. He was the whole business, manufacturing at night, selling and delivering by day, thus contributing to a higher standard of living and making his dream come true. Such industrial pioneers with courage and initiative have contributed much to the growth of the nation's industry. He was the first Fuller brushman, and he brought to the home the solution of many a personal and household cleaning problem. His brushes were intelligently designed and well made of materials of highest quality. Housewives told housewives, and his business grew.
Here is today's agenda. 1. We'll start with a quick write and turn. This is a quick write followed by a turn and talk with a partner. 2. 10-minute Socratic seminar. 3. Write a thesis statement about the American dream and identity on the green index card provided to you. Drop it in the box by the door on your way out of class today. Don't forget your homework. Please read Act 1, Scenes 1 through 3 for tomorrow's class. Today, we're discussing the genre conventions of tragedy in Miller's Death of a Salesman, a text that we will structure with the format of Freytag's pyramid. You can apply genre conventions by shaping your writing to reflect how tragic texts are typically constructed. First, structure. In tragedy, the organization reflects the rise and fall of the tragic hero's journey. We can use Freytag's pyramid to diagram structure. Next, Freytag's pyramid was developed in 1863 by German novelist Gustav Freytag to analyze the structure of classic tragedies. It is a framework that maps a story into 5 core stages: exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. We begin with the exposition, where the setting, characters, and basic situation are established for the audience. Next is the rising action, a series of events that build tension and develop the central conflict. The climax is the peak of tension, the turning point where the protagonist's fate is sealed. Finally, the falling action leads to the resolution, where the consequences of the climax unfold and the story reaches its end. Paragraphing. Each paragraph should focus on a specific stage, like the protagonist's flaw or conflict. The tone should be serious and somber, matching the gravity of the character's downfall. For mechanics, focus on accuracy and clarity to maintain a professional and serious academic tone. Grammar must be formal. In literary analysis, we generally maintain a consistent present tense. Use syntax to reflect mood. Vary your sentence lengths to highlight key tragic moments and intensity. Finally, style. Use precise vocabulary like fatal flaw and fate to maintain an analytical perspective. Willy Loman exemplifies the tragic hero through his blind faith in a dream that ultimately leads to his downfall. The key takeaway is to align your writing style and structure with the expectations of tragic storytelling. Before you leave, please turn in your exit structure our writing. Marcus, that is a good question. I think of structure in writing this way. First, organize your writing around cause, consequence, and downfall. Clearly track the protagonist's journey from hope to tragedy. Use chronological or cause and effect organization. Use topic sentences, outlines, or graphic organizers like bubble diagrams to organize your thoughts and writing.
I don't quite get it, Professor Emma. How exactly do I apply structure to my writing? She broke it down into 3 pillars. First, an introduction to set the scene, then body paragraphs to build the argument, and finally, a conclusion to reinforce the thesis. She also taught me that every paragraph needs its own structure. A topic sentence, supporting evidence, and analysis to tie it all together. It makes the whole process so much clearer. I'm going to start by outlining my first 3 paragraphs today. You should try it too.
Can we go over paragraphing again? I need to jot down some notes. How do you paragraph in my writing? Another good question, Alexis. Start paragraphs with a clear topic sentence. For example, Willie's tragic flaw is his obsession with a distorted American dream. Then, use textual evidence, specific quotes and examples to support every analytical point you make in your essay. Finally, link your paragraphs logically. This shows the cumulative buildup of the tragedy and keeps your analysis cohesive. Keep these structural tips in mind as you work on your next draft.
Professor Emma, we've been talking about tone in tragedy, which is usually serious and somber, reflective, or critical. You said that the tone of my writing should match my audience expectations and the genre's purpose. But how do I apply this?
Hada, your question was, how do we apply tone in our writing for the genre of tragedy? One of the ways to apply tone is to avoid casual or humorous language. We should use formal and thoughtful wording. Remember, your tone should reflect the weight and seriousness of the tragic themes you are analyzing.
Professor Emma, my name is Araj, and I have a question about punctuation and mechanics. I need to apply these correctly, and I understand that I have to use a clear and serious tone, but I am not a native English speaker, so I want to avoid errors that disrupt my meaning, and I want to focus on the semicolon and the comma when drafting a strong thesis statement for Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman. I understand that I need to apply complete grammatically correct sentences, and for me, I always make mistakes with slang and sentence fragments. Can you explain this again?
Today, we're refining our Death of a Salesman thesis statements by mastering the mechanics of punctuation. Your thesis must link Willy Loman's tragic flaw to his downfall using precise, analytical language. Consider this. Willy Loman's pursuit of a distorted American dream is his tragic flaw. It necessitates his downfall. Let's diagram this statement. Notice how the semicolon acts as a logical pivot, connecting the cause of Willy's flaw to the inevitability of his fate. Use a semicolon to link two independent but closely related analytical thoughts, showing a direct logical progression in your argument. A colon creates anticipation. Use it to introduce a list of evidence or a concluding thought that emphasizes the tragedy of the common man. Commas are essential for setting off dependent clauses. They manage the pace of your analysis, ensuring each point is clearly articulated. This technical precision maintains our formal tone, ensuring our analysis of Miller's tragedy remains somber and academic. For your exit ticket, submit your thesis with a focus on semicolons and colons. Let's see that logical flow. For these last few minutes of class, I'll touch upon syntax and style. We use syntax in sentence structure for emphasis. Syntax in tragedy reflects mood, for example, analysis or reflection. It is characterized by sharp sentences to emphasize key tragic moments. You can apply this by varying sentence length to reflect emotional intensity. It is best practice to use complex sentences for explaining cause and effect. Then, use shorter sentences to highlight tragic outcomes. Next, we have to contend with style. Style in tragedy is formal and analytical for essays. Style includes vocabulary choice, imagery, and narrative choices shaped by the genre. Apply style by using precise vocabulary such as tragic flaw, downfall, and fate. It is important to use literary techniques such as imagery, symbolism, and irony. It's good practice to maintain consistency in voice and perspective. Miller's play presents a powerful critique of societal expectations, reinforcing Willy's downfall. This progression from hope to despair reflects the core conventions of tragedy. Our key takeaway today is that you successfully apply genre conventions in tragedy when you allied all aspects of your writing: structure, paragraphing, tone, grammar, syntax, and style with the expectations of tragic storytelling. We've been discussing the American dream, focusing on three big questions. What is it? Do we all have an equal shot at it? And how does attaining it affect your sense of identity? Please take your chairs and form our circle. As we begin, consider if reaching the dream changes who you are. Does it reinforce your identity, or does it require you to leave a part of yourself behind? As we begin, please remember our guidelines. State a claim clearly, support it directly with textual evidence, and build upon or challenge your peers' ideas. It's through these shared stories and diverse perspectives that we truly begin to uncover the layers of our topic today. We encourage every voice to be heard, so don't hesitate to jump in with your thoughts. I'm looking forward to your insights. Let's start our seminar. What does the American dream mean to you, and how does that pursuit shape who you are?
Professor, I think this line when Willy's son Biff is talking to his dad, "I don't know what the future is. I don't know what I'm supposed to want," shows that as a young adult, Biff doesn't know of any identity other than his dad's definition of success. If Biff is not well liked, how can he be a success? He thinks that his dad's ideals are hollow, and it really depresses him. He doesn't know how to be Biff anymore.
Let's look at Biff through an existential lens. Biff is experiencing, how can we say, something like the anxiety of freedom. The social blueprint he was given has failed, leaving him with a void, an identity crisis.
When Willy is talking to his wife Linda, he says, "The trouble is, Linda, people don't seem to take to me." I think that being well-liked is important to achieve success. Because if you're not popular, then you can be seen as a failure. I mean, sometimes people don't like you just because of the way you look. To compensate, some students cheat on their essays. When we know now that professors use software to determine plagiarism or AI use when writing, it's better to just think about the question and determine what you think is appropriate for yourself.
Yeah, Professor Emma, I have a comment. I'd like to call attention to this quote in the play. It is when Willie's wife Linda says, "Attention. Attention must finally be paid to such a person." And she's referring to her husband. I think Linda is defending her husband here because despite Willie's ordinariness and his failures, his life still has human value. And because of that, his life demands respect.
Connecting themes to multiple texts. Next week, we will collaborate in groups to connect 2 or more themes to multiple texts. Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman, John Steinbeck's Paradox and Dream, and poet Emily Dickinson's I'm Nobody, Who Are You, Anna Columnar Self, and I Am Cleaving in My Mind. John Steinbeck, Internet Research on Steinbeck's Paradox and Dream. In John Steinbeck's writing, especially of Mice and Men, and his essay Paradox and Dream, the ideas of dream and paradox are closely connected. Emily Dickinson, Internet Research on Dickinson's Poetry. You will examine the historical context of Dickinson's life to inform and expand upon her poetry.